Hello and welcome to our demo of Kronos, our web application based upon the GTD Global Terrorism Data Set from START of the University of Maryland. Kronos is a web application based upon Sencha Touch and as such can run on multiple platforms. However, to keep this demo short, we only use the iPhone. To get started, we'll load the application from Safari and show you that it actually is a web application. And as you can see here, we are loading it from a website loaded connected to this network, and you can display and go from screen to screen to screen. However, to actually get the best viewing experience from this application, we're going to load it in its almost native iOS format from the iPhone's home screen. As you can see here, it's a very simplistic view. We only have a couple elements on the main page. All it has is our logo Kronos, a search box, and two search buttons. At the bottom you can also see that there are multiple tabs which point to different views for querying or viewing the data in different ways. The first one that's selected is the home page, which we're on now. The second one is our advanced search functionality that you can see allows us to refine and expand our query to include specific location, time date ranges, and pull back more data than the default 10 elements. The third view is the map view. When we search information, the elements will be loaded up here, and you can actually search in and view more information about the plotted elements. However, since our data it'll be plotted as close to its natural location as possible. However, since our data set was very limited and had only a certain amount of geolocation elements, we had to kind of improvise, and many of the events will seem like they occur in the same spot. The next two items are placeholders for future functionality. The first one will be used to add events to the data set, and the next one will be used to show a user profile. This user profile could potentially be used for networking or other information sharing, such as the user's most recent posts or most recent events added to the data set. However, to keep this simple, let's go back to our current functionality and show you what Kronos is all about. So again, going back to the home page, we have a very minimalistic approach. We have just our search box that we can type in, and what we're going to do here is we're going to first start searching for the terrorist group Hamas, and we can issue a search, and as you can see here, it loads up our data store, and it's showing that it's returning one of 10 elements of 264. We can search for the next page by just swiping from next just across the screen like this, and going back to the previous page as such. When we click on an element, it'll actually bring up a shadow box which displays more information about that element as well as the location from where it is, and you can kind of view around there and kind of zoom in and get more detail about that. So in the shadow box we included information from the database as such that includes the summary, the location, attack type, and many different types of elements. We can click out, and again we can go to the next page. So another cool aspect about this application is that when you go from one view to the next, you can actually the data will actually go with you. So if we go to our advanced search page, you can scroll down and you can see that the data is there as well, and you can load it up, and it's the same data event. And to go to the next functionality is the map. You can actually see that it plots the data on the event, and you actually see, okay, Hamas had a lot of events in Israel. So we scroll in, and there's a lot of the events. And again, we can also bring up another shadow box of the same variety that we've been showing on the other pages. Now that we have this basic search functionality down, we can go to the advanced search and show you more of the functionality that our application has. Okay, so first we'll start out with a basic functionality for ransom, a basic search for ransom, and show you that it clears the data set and then populates it with the new data. And again, you can bring up the shadow box, shows you the event, and we can now plot these events on the map. And since it's all dispersed across, it spreads out the map and shows you all the elements. Also, the pagination works the same way here. You load it up, and the map will load up the data set that's currently loaded. Let's go to the next page. Let's see if it actually shows you some better data. And see, as you can see, that definitely changed, and it's all located in Africa, Asia, and Europe. So now, going back, we are going to get into the fun stuff by adding some very complex queries. So now that we have ransom, we're actually going to search in the Philippines. Now, based upon our limitations of JavaScript and Solar, we actually have to do a couple of tricky features here. So you can search just based upon Philippines here, the word Philippines. However, if it does that, it'll just do like a normal textual search and search for anything Philippines in any of the data sets. To actually get a location-based search that's on the lat longs that we've ingested, we actually have to hit this go button, and it'll actually go query Google and get the lat longitudes of that location. So now that we have that, we can now search on that data. And another thing to note is that this location field is boosted to make it more important, since we were trying to find information in that location. So as you can see here, it found 150 events, and all of them in the Philippines, since that's based upon the location. And also, again, to note the location, it doesn't actually filter any of the information. Again, based upon the limitations with the JavaScript and Solar that we have, there were some features with Solar where we could do some filtering. However, again, with this function call of going to Google and get the geocodes, we couldn't actually have a wait time or anything else like that to get it working correctly. So we had to implement this Go feature. So now that we have the Philippines, we can again search. We can open it up in the shadow box, and now we can go in and do a spatial temporal search. So we have ransom Philippines, and let's search for anything after 1982, January 31st, 1982, and up until, let's say, 1998 January. Let's do a search, and we find 4 events. And now, since apparently none of the events that occurred in the Philippines occurred between this time range, we only get the 4 events back. So also with this, we can increase and decrease our total items. However, since we aren't getting any results back for that, let's increase our time to there, do a search, and so we have 149 now. Let's increase it to, let's return 50 events, and as you can see, displaying 1 of 50. We can scroll all the way down. We can click on any one of these, bring up the shadow box, display the information regarding it, and then also go to the map and display all 50 of these events, and they're all over the world. Okay, now that we have all of this demo done, that's pretty much a lot of the basic and complex functionality of our application. I hope you guys liked it.